Hello and welcome to this evening's flight. This is a flight I've been meaning to do for a little while now, from Kemble with an RNAV approach into Gloucester and then back to Wellesbourne. Now it's actually nearly 8 o'clock at night here in the UK, but obviously beautiful weather we're having at the moment, and we can still fly, and sunset is just after 9 o'clock. So we've got plenty of time to make this flight and be back on the ground at Wellesbourne, which is good. So I've just been having a look at the METARs, and by the looks of it, let me just scan through here. So Gloucester, we have wind 120 at 6 knots. And Birmingham is wind 070 at 11 knots. So for Gloucester, we will be doing the RNAV approach for runway. Let's check this chart. Where are we? 09. So that'll be the best. So we're going to have to go a little bit out of our way. But yes, so the RNAV approach, we're going to join at the initial approach fix, which will be SOSAB. Then follow on to the intermediate fix. Then the final approach fix, and then obviously we will do a missed approach. Now we won't actually go into the hold for the missed approach, we will just go direct to Wellesbourne then. But looking at this, minimum safe altitude from our direction of Kemble to SOSAB is 2,300, but we've actually got to join SOSAB at not below, so basically 3,000 foot, and then on our way to the intermediate fix we can descend to 2,500 feet. The final approach fix will be 1,700 feet, and then a slow step down from there. Yes, so that's okay. So yeah, after the final approach fix at 5 miles we can go, so 5 miles is 1,700, 4 miles 1,400, 3 miles is 1,080, and 2 miles is 760. That's okay. I'm just checking the object collision altitude of 830 within the area. Okay, so that's fine. I will try and put this chart into the video. I don't know whether I'll be able to or not, but obviously because what I've just been saying there will not mean anything to anybody without looking at the chart. But the charts are freely available on the internet, so you can download them from there. So yeah, so that looks absolutely fine. And then Wellesbourne, I think we said Birmingham's METAR was 070 at 11 knots, so that means we'll be landing on runway 05, I think it is. Let me just triple check that. Yes, 05 at Wellesbourne. So it's a short runway, and normally on a weekend, a Saturday, you wouldn't be able to use that runway because of the market. So in real world, I might actually have to land. Might have to be 3.6. Because obviously the market wouldn't have cleared by now. So yes, so we'll take that into consideration. So we might use 3.6 for the landing, but we'll see. So yeah, so let me just get SkyDemon working with Flight Sim, and that should all be set up. So I'm just going to set that to the side of my screen there, so I've got a track on that. And then also, so what we're going to do is start the plane up now. So let me get the checklist. And again, we'll assume that we've done all of our outside checks already. So seats are adjusted and locked, hatches and harnesses all secure, and the door is secure. Parking brake is set to on, which is great. Radio and avionics are all turned off, no master switches on. Instruments are all fully legible. And let's just change in the QNH there. Again, a bit of a flight simulator cheat, because you can just press a key and get the latest QNH, so that's okay, that's great. Flying controls, we'll just check we've got full and free movement and no issues there at all. That's great. Trimmers, would normally operate those, but we'll leave them in neutral position. Flaps, we will put in. There's all 3 stages. And returning, that's great. Cabin controls and air are all set to close, that's great. Throttle, I'll just move a quarter, so we'll do a full movement first, then to a quarter. Mixture will set fully rich. Throttle friction is loose at the moment. Carb heat, we'll just operate. That's okay, no problem there. So let's turn our master switch on. There's the master switches on. All of our circuit breakers have stayed in, which is good news. And you might remember from last time, the GNS 430 packed up on our way back from Bembridge, and hence why we couldn't do the RNAV into Gloucester then. So I'm hoping now, it's been into maintenance, so it should all be fixed. So let's just put our nav lights on to let people know we're actually going to be starting up. Fuel, we have, so it looks like least amount on the right tank, so we will actually taxi on the left, which we're already on, which is fine. So I'll just put some the fuel pump on itself. So let's just turn that one on. We should see the pressure go up, and we do. That's great. So that can go off. That's fine. So that's all okay. Everything's set. We'll make sure the ignition is turned on, and then we can start up. So we'll just have a quick look around, check that nobody's about before we operate the prop, and then we'll start the starter. So we need to prime as well. So I'm going to give it 5 primes. There's 5 primes, and again we'll just have a quick look around, check there's nobody around. That's fine. There we are, it started up, and there goes a plane on its way. Just bring it up to 1200 approximately on the RPM, so that's great there, that's okay. So let's just get the radio going. So starter warning lights are out and all okay. Oil pressure is in the green, which is good. And just make sure it's all calm. That's all okay. So it's always good after a starter just to let it settle down, to make sure everything's okay. That's fine. So we'll just test our ammeter now, and there we are, got a slight jump, so that's fine as well. Ammeter's okay, suction gauge is fine. So we'll just operate the magneto, so we should get a slight drop on the RPM, 3.1. There we are, very slight drop, back up to both, and it's increased. And try not to turn it off, that's always the problem with doing it via a mouse, unfortunately, a very slight drop. I've done it again. There we are, we've got away with that one. So that's all okay, that's fine. So what we'll do is we'll just get all of these going as well. We'll have to stand by, turn that on. That's perfect. So is what we will do now is, let me just check the SkyDemon chart. I'm pretty certain. Gloucester NBB is 331, so if we increase that round to 33, that should be Gloucester, so we should get that reading on that dial there when we get up in the air. We'll also put in 10995, that's Gloucester as well. 95, that should give us a reading out to the airfield itself. The other thing we will put in as well is just have a look for, where is it? that, sorry. Daventry. 1640, so let's just tune that to. Oop, past it again. 1640. So I'll move that over to there, and then in theory, yeah, that'll do fine for now. So let's get taxiing on our way. Well, there's a Cessna. Might be in the circuit or departing away, I'm not sure. So let's just check everything here. So we've put our beacon on. That's fine. Strobes will turn on when we get to the runway. Okie dokie. Check out. This is matching well. That's good. Okie dokie. I wonder if that Cessna's in the circuit actually. We're doing a few circuits, so let's just taxi away here now. Yeah. Slow joy. I'll take up this good opportunity to test all of the rudder movements, the brakes, when it's working, and just check that that's. I always have to move this slightly down. There we are, that's better, that's in the centre there. So if we were to have IFR conditions for any reason, we would have that tuned in. So we'll be taking off on runway 13. Just check that on again, the Kemble charts, on the safe side. I know that where the wind's coming from that direction, it should be left going to be absolutely certain. Come on. Confirm. Information. Roll. No, I'm not even sure what 13 is associated with on this. Have we got? I'm not seeing any other runway of 13. No, it should be 08. I did think that was a bit slightly wrong when I saw those numbers on there. Yeah. Yes, it'll be whatever it is, it's going to be 08. Let's put it that way. Now that's the runway we're taking off from, so let's just get rid of that shot there. Check so we're going to be turning to our right. So that Cessna might actually be waiting for us to get out of the way. So I'm not sure whether I can actually taxi that way along. I might be able to actually, so I might be able to get out of the way of that plane there. So let's start our taxi. We'll go down here. Hopefully we're not going to come to a dead end. Oh, looks like we are actually. Just checking the SkyDemon chart. I might have made the turn slightly early, but he did want to come down here, so we'll just taxi over here. There we are. Not the cleverest, I will be the first to say, but yeah, there is a 13 here. I have no idea. That must be a disused runway now, because it's not on the official chart anymore, but it exists obviously in flight sim. So just taxi around here. There we are, get around there. Goes round to there. Taxi speed down a bit. now, up in the distance. So let me just check the XR again, just on the same side. Yep, 080 to 11 knots. So perfectly taking up into the wind. So that's good news. The other thing we will do while we're here, let's just get this set up correctly. So we'll direct to EGBJ. Too far, there we are. EGBJ, that's Gloucester. That's great. An approach, we're going to select an approach. I don't know what that's done there. Cancel that as a procedure. Select approach. Where was that? Okay, let's just try to put the wrong airfield in, always possible. E G B. Oh, I sit there, that's why. EGBJ activate. Right, let's just try that procedure. Select procedure, that's better. So, right, I picked somewhere up in Alaska, which is very clever of me. So RNAV for 09, that's okay. We said we're going to start at SOSAB, so we'll put that there and we'll load that for the time being. Not going to activate it just yet. That's fine. So we should all be set on there, so we'll just pop that back there now. Bring ourselves across here. That's what we'll do as well. We'll just turn ourselves to the winds as best we can there, just to do our final check. So parking brake is on. Okie dokie. Throttles at 1200. A little bit of a nudge. There we are. 1200. We should move over fuel tank to the right hand side now. Engine T's and P's are all okay and limit. It looks okay. Set throttle up to 2000. Not 2000. Just brake carping. Show a slight drop, which we'll do. Back in. Brake teach magneto. I'll try not to turn the engine off this time. Show a slight drop as well. So that's fine. Back to both. Back up. Go to the right. That's fine. Slight drop. Back up to both. Suction gauge between 3 and 5, that's correct. Ammeter is charging, that's fine. Engine teeth and P's are within limits and then open the lines. So we are all settled, engine settled, happy, that's good. Perfect. Okay. So that is that done. So trimmers are all set, we know that's neutral, that's fine. Throttle friction is finger tight, mixture is fully rich, magnetos are on both, master switch is on, pitot not required, primer is locked, fuel is on right tank, fuel pump is going on. Flaps are not required, instruments are all correct and above board, that's fine, yeah. Radio avionics are tuned as they should be, hatches are closed, harnesses are all secure, carpet is cold, controls full and 3 movements. And there we go, that's absolutely fine, perfect, right, so we are ready for takeoff. Put my checklist down, get it back to where it should be. There we are. Let's put that that on there. So let's just take the parking brake off and bring it on slightly. Well, and just get ourselves to the hold first. There we are, that's better. Right, so bring ourselves to hold. So what we're just going to do is strobes are going on. Transponder to altitude mode, that's fine. So nothing on final approach, that's fine. Nothing coming from that side. No, right, let's take off. There we are. Right, so all set, everything happy, everything all set. Yep, that's okay. Take off, increasing power. Speeds are line, frequencies are feeding limits. There's our rotation speed. Here we go. Nice way to fly. We'll close that, so I forgot to do that last time. All I might do is actually put the mics in. It's quite good that I keep forgetting about that, but that does really cut down the outside noise in the plane and the flight simulator. There we are, we're climbing up. There's 1,000 feet on the QNH. So we know that we need to be at 3,000 feet for SOSAB, according to the chart. So I'm going to continue my climb up now. And then is what I'm going to actually do as well while climbing. Just go to procedure. Activate the approach, so that should give us, so we need to be flying heading 295 to SOSAB, and it's 18 miles away. Let's bring that round, so if we start our turn now to 295, while continuing our climb to 3,000. Look at those fantastic clouds. Good news is in the UK restrictions are slowly being removed, so there's a hope that I'll actually be able to go and do some real world flying soon, whether that, and I don't know what soon is, whether that's a month, 2 months, 3 months, but it is getting closer, which is always nice to know. So keep that turn coming, right in there, 3.5. 1,000 an hour going, so still going up, getting close to 3,000, and coming around to 295 quite nicely at the moment. There we are, so let's just continue our climb slightly, and then I said I am going to cheat with this and use the autopilot the best godsend ever in a plane. Just bring the RPM back slightly so we don't want to be racing. Keeping our eye on the plane over there, but that's okay. So let's just go auto. I forget how this is. It's that one there. Which one is it? Autopilot. That's it. So used to not flying with an autopilot that I don't actually use one very often at all. So I go autopilot now. I think because we're on heading hold, this should track us in. So that what I've done here is, although we're supposed to be flying 295, the GPS, and I think once we get round to about now, we can start winding this back round to 295. We should start to track that in quite nicely now. I'm going to keep an eye on my altitude and my speed, because I don't want to overspeed this. Let's just get this all set up. So coming down now, So we're going to get very close to altitude of 3,000 feet. Check this, that'll do. And if I go altitude hold now as well, in theory, see we've got a bit, so we need to trim down at the moment. Oh, it's having a right fit. The autopilot's gone wrong. It's trying to launch me into outer space, so let me just tick off autopilot. I don't know what's going on there. So maybe we won't use the autopilot. Another bug and glitch, because it tried to take me into a huge stall then, which isn't clever. Bring that over, so we'll find the magenta line. So we're actually going to hand fly this, and we'll stay clear of that plane there. There he goes. I'm not sure what was going on with the autopilot there. Should have been able to do that, I would have thought. Altitude hold, let's try it. No, it's playing up. Another bug. Right, well, if in doubt, hand fly. Yeah, we're definitely heading on, weren't we? Yeah. Oh well. Let's try and get this trimmed off now. Reasonable. Right, so we're on our magenta line. Just bring up our flight pan. So we've got 10 miles to SOSAB at the moment. Try and get this. What I'm trying to do as well is get the chart up on SkyDemon for play, which doesn't help. Because again, normally I would have all of this already printed out, ready to go. So let's use round slightly. Let's just see if we can get autopilot to work in some fashion, manner. Right, so it says it's ready. Let's just go altitude hold. Heading mode, okay. It should start to fly 295. Let's just get this altitude trimmed down. So we're 8 miles from SOSAB at the moment. Where's the Gloucester plate? Come on. Information. Instrument plates. RNAV 09. And let's just put the picture-in-picture one in place. Right. So okay. Let's just try and get this height back under control. See if we can get the height autopilot to work again. So there's 3,000 feet. Okay. So altitude hold. Let's see if it doesn't try and go ballistic this time. No, seems calm. Interesting. Okay, so let's just drop out of that. So we're pretty much on the magenta line. Slightly offset, as you can see there, but not dramatically so on there. So we'll arrive at SOSAB, and when we get to SOSAB, we're going to turn right to 014. The intermediate fix. So with 3,000 at the moment, we can descend to 2,500 for the intermediate fix. And then once we get there, we'll review it again. So we're going to be turning right to 014. That's the important part, and a slow descent. So the NDB actually is picking up, because I would say, yeah, that looks like it would be Gloucester over there somewhere. Can't see it there, but yeah, I'm pretty certain it will be there. And there's a beautiful view out there. I can't wait wait to get back to do this for real, to be honest. So yes, we've got 3.8 miles to SOSAB. So start. Yeah, we're on a good course called SkyDemon as well, so that's okay. And instrument flying is one of the hardest parts of flying you will ever do, even in VMC conditions, this is beautiful, can see for miles. Just trying to do IFR flying, follow charts, look at frequencies to dial in, switch frequencies, make sure you're following certain tracks, keeping certain heights. It's so difficult. And then if you add in cloud where you cannot see anything, you're relying just on those instruments there. And actually finding clouds not difficult. It's if you've got really windy conditions, downdrafts, updrafts, and it is so difficult. And you can be just so drained even after a 30-minute flight, especially if you don't have things like autopilot, which on the plane I fly doesn't have an autopilot. So you can't sit there hands free like this, just holding an altitude and a heading. You are constantly putting in inputs on the plane all the way through. So yeah, one of the hardest parts of flying and going. But yeah, we've got just about 1.1 miles now to SOSAB, and IGOS saying we're going to be about 13 miles away roughly, 13.5 miles. So we should, at some point, it should tell us to start doing our turn. I might have missed it. It would normally flash up about now. I know we're turning to 014, so that's what we're going to do. And again, I'm going to cheat this slightly. Just whiz that around here. 014. And then once we've completed our turn, we're going to start our descent down to 2,000. Just check that. Sorry, where's my descent profile? 2,500. That's right. Just bring that around now. So we'll turn off the altitude hold. So that should go off, but we should still have our heading hold. So we should be able to bring the plane down now. So it's what I normally do now as well. And again, it depends on the conditions you're flying in, but the aircraft checks for landing. So brakes are off, undercarriage down, mixture is rich, fuel is still on, fuel pump on. We're on the right tank. Looks like we should actually switch to the left. So we're going to the left tank. Instruments are all set. I'm going to put carb heat on, and hatches and harnesses are all secure. So, and again, this is the critical thing that we've got to watch our altitude, because we cannot be below 2,500. Because what I'm actually going to do now is lose the autopilot completely, so I can fly this in and actually track this correctly, because we're actually miles off course. And I probably should have set the autopilot up to actually track the GPS, but as is life. So we'll make sure we maintain 2,500. There's some beautiful, I'll actually drop that back in there so you can actually see some of the fantastic views. Watch that height dropping slightly, that's the only problem looking around. The minute you take your eyes off the screen to look at something else, or the instruments rather, this is where you lose your height. In instrument flying, you cannot lose altitude, you have to fly levels, it's for your safety. Now there is obviously a tolerance built in, but the point is you should be flying those altitudes and not deviating. Trim that off a bit. So we're okay. So we're just about to hit the magenta line again. So let's just get this. So 084 will be our next track. 084. So we're going to bring this back round now to 014. Should be on the magenta line. So that's about there. Now, what I do with the heading bug, sometimes if you've got one 084, is even if you're not using it with an autopilot in any fashion, just dial it in as it's a nice. Oh, got it first time and shot past it then. That'll do. 083. It's pointing in the right direction. So there we are. We're approaching the intermediate fix at 2,500 here as we like. We'll start our turn now to 084. Round. Now obviously in the distance you can see the airfield. You wouldn't actually see that in real life. You can see how my height has crept there, so we've actually gone well above. We should actually now be starting our descent to 1,700 feet, and I've actually gone up 200 feet, and that's just sloppy flying. We're also well off the track for the RNAV. We need to go right. And again, part of this, just so you know, the GNS 430 in the real world actually gives you turning points. So before you get to a waypoint, it will tell you to turn, and that's the idea, is so you don't overshoot your track. Now, unfortunately, the one in Flight Sim doesn't do that, but that's no excuse for not flying the correct profile and not doing that. So we're still bringing it down slowly. Trying to get that magenta line. So we know we should be flying 084, so we're going to bring that around now. And that should hopefully put us on the magenta line. So we know, so we've got 8 miles to go. We know the final approach fix is at 5 miles, so we can start levelling off now because we want to be at 1,700 feet. Don't need to rush down. We're following that magenta line in the GPS. Come up slightly. Don't want to fall below that 1,700. So it's quite thermally and quite a little bit windy today. You can see the plane bobbling around all over the place. Slightly falling below our 1,700. We'll get that back. Maybe not better. Everything's okay. So final approach fix is approaching. So that's at 5 miles. So 4 miles we'll be able to go down to 1,400. There we are, that's the final approach. And now we're actually getting this, so arriving at waypoint, so that means now we can start our descent down to 1,400. Now again, there's no rush to get down, so we'll try and have a sensible flight path. I'm just conscious that we've just seen that Cessna over there at 1600 feet. I said I'm cheating slightly. Again, the GNS 430 does have all the distances on, which this it doesn't show in the sim. So I'm using the DME for IGOS to give me a reading. So at 4 miles, we should be at 1400, and nearly there. We'll keep it on a power on a little bit. 3 miles, we can go down to 1080. There's 4 miles, so we can continue our descent, and then 3 miles. I'm going to start bringing the speed back as well, because we want to be able to put in our first stage of flaps. So 3 miles is 1080. Slowly coming down. 0.4, and 2 miles is 760. And it's coming up to 3 miles. We've got a nice descent rate at the moment. There's 3. So I'll put in our first stage of flaps. We'll add a bit of drag in. That's 3 miles. So brakes off and can make sure each fuel pump is on, instruments are all set, carpets on, hatches and harnesses all secure, that's fine. So 2 miles is 760. So I'll continue our descent. Hold it there because we're just about 760, which we are. So the second stage of flaps can go in, that's great. So now we're going to start really concentrating on the airspeed and getting us down to our 75. 1 mile we don't actually have on the chart, so 2 miles, that's our basically area there. So at that point, runway has got to be in sight. Make sure we get 1 mile. We'll go third stage of flaps. Again, we aren't landing here, so it will be a go around. But this is just to give you an idea of what's involved. 1.3, still a little fast. Need to bleed that speed off a bit. Down to 75. Nice cliff there. Good old flight simulator, some of the things it does. So there's 1 mile, third stage of flaps. So there we are, we'd be all set now for that landing. Just trim that out a bit. There we are. So right, we're going to go around. So full power. RP's in. Wait for positive rate of climb. We have positive rate of first stage flaps can come off. Still climbing up. Still positive. Second stage of flaps can come off. Still climbing up. Still positive rate of climb. Third stage of flaps can come up. There our flaps are fully retracted. And we can continue our climb out now. So we'll probably climb up to 2,500 or so. As you can see, probably with the hill ahead of us, this is why you have your step downs on the chart, because it's to keep you clear of any terrain, any obstacles, any masts, and that's why it's so critical that you follow the chart and you don't deviate from the altitudes. Otherwise, you can have all sorts of issues, and it's just not the way to do it. So turn out now. So what I am going to do, I'm just going to bring that. So I'm going to try and put our routes over there at the back on again. We want heading hold at least. Just to give me couple of seconds. I'm heading home on that. Let me carry on flying now. I'm just going to keep fighting this permanently. It's the thermal all over the place. So that's about 2,500. Try and trim this off a bit. Back under. It's funny really, although summer days are the most beautiful to fly on, give me a cloudy, overcast October, November any day. The skies are so calm compared to warm days where you feel like you're just fighting the plane all the time. So let's just do altitude for lettuce. Yeah, so that's just a trim down, that's fine. So we can get this to trim down. So that's full nose down trim now, it's ridiculous. See how he's just diving into oblivion. So I'm just going to cut the power on that because we don't want to overspeed. And this autopilot, I think, just isn't very. So let's just disconnect autopilot. There we are. We're no longer fighting the plane. And we'll just make our direct. Go. EGBW back to Wellesbourne. Just hand fly this for the time being. Oop, gone past it. Down. EGBW, enter, enter. So flight plan. Yeah, it even does that on the real one. I've never worked out what it is. It gives you the old info if you've done an approach. One day I will look at that, because what we're going to do is start our turn. Is that still locked? Is the autopilot still on? Right pane. Right, let's do that. We can get round. Oh. Getting fuel off now. Okay. Now you might be wondering what the constant banking is to port or the left. This is because the fuel tanks are unbalanced and the right tank, well, in theory, to be fair, you would think would be banking right, but I've had this on the A2A planes before where unless the fuel is absolutely level and it banks left and right, and I've never experienced that in the real plane at all, this constant sort of left and right turning depending on what's in your fuel tanks. But yeah, it seems to be I'll call it a feature. of the plane. That's probably the only thing I would say that I don't like about the model, is the constant fuel tanks. As I said, banking you left and right, but other than that, it's the best plane I've ever flown in a flight simulator. I love it to bits, and that's why, as I said, one small little thing like that, you're not going to get too worried about it. I'm just checking SkyDemon there. I'm just going to actually stop SkyDemon for a second, and I'm just going to have a look at the latest weather at Birmingham. I've got the latest weather. 24,050 at 9, so the wind's actually moving round. So I think we will land on runway 36. That will be our plan. Music's playing for that. Yeah, it's funny, it's got the SkyDemon, to get it to talk to Flight Simulator, you actually tell it to use X-Plane, and with the Flight Simulator plugin, it just picks it up from that. So, yeah, if you ever hear me saying use X-Plane, this isn't X-Plane, it's Flight Simulator, it's just the way the SkyDemon connects to it to report the information to it. So, we know Wellesbourne is at 1,050 feet approximately. Because we're flying on Q&H, technically the circuit height would be 1150, but it's what I'm going to probably do, because of the way we're approaching Wellesbourne, is a straight-in approach to 36. And it's quite funny actually when you do sort of straight-in approaches and everything, especially after training and whatnot. All of your checks you do, you have to be so careful you remember to do them, because if you normally say do something certain when you're downwind, whether it's a radio call, putting a stage of flaps, something like that, when you do a straight-in approach, obviously you never go downwind. So it's very easy just to be flying into the airfield and forget all of the things you were supposed to do, and that's really where the experience, just like driving, your experience comes in, and that's why I'd say in the real world I would never rush to arrive somewhere. Yes, you might be able to save yourself a little bit of money because you don't go and fly a circuit, but it ensures that you do everything correctly, especially if you're visiting somewhere new. Gives you that little bit of time to orientate yourself, whereas a straight approach doesn't really give you any time at all. You're literally just 4 or 5 miles out, and then you arrive at the airfield and you should have done everything by then. So, as I said, I've absolutely fine with straight approaches, no issue with it in kind of on a technical standpoint. It's just if you're a new pilot, rushing to get on the ground is one of the worst things you can do. You should be enjoying flying, taking the opportunity to get in as much as you possibly can, and if that includes an overhead join, might add 0.3 to the tacho by the time we've done it all, but that's what it's about. Cost should never come into it when you're flying a plane, because I've seen videos online where people have flown some of the most peculiar routes, is probably the best way I can describe it, just because they're what seems to be shortcutting the flight, and yeah, they've busted controlled airspace, all sorts of things, just because they're trying to get a quick way to arrive at the airfield. So what I'm doing now, I'm just starting a right-hand turn to start lining myself up for a long final join for 3.6. So we are going to deviate away from the magenta line, because it's actually taking us in pretty much for 0.5 at the moment. So I'm just going to start my turn due east. I'm just waiting to see SkyDemon thinks we're still flying north at the moment, which is quite intriguing. And this is this delay I've mentioned previously. Sometimes there's no delay at all, and other times it's awful. Just like now, we are pretty much flying due east, compass agrees, and SkyDemon has got me at best flying northeast. And that's just because it's like a 30-second delay, and now it's slowly coming round. So yeah, so that's yeah, it's slowly getting there now. So we've got a very slow descent on as well, because I said we want to be about 1,150 feet, but we're not going to rush down there. I said this is for long final joint. So I actually think that what we're flying there at the moment is pretty perfect for this approach, for long final. You can see the plane bobbling all over the place. Yeah, so a little bit to go to a long final yet. But again, perfect opportunity to do the checks, make sure everything's okay, ready for landing. I think that's Wellesbourne over there. Oh, what a lovely day. So unfortunately, because SkyDemon is so out of sync, what I'm going to have to do, I think, is try and work this out based on the GNS 430 for our yeah, I think I can't trust the route we're flying on SkyDemon at all, so I can see so that's where we should be coming. So we shouldn't be, we're not going to be too far off now. Now the weather seems to have calmed down dramatically. Now I am running active Sky Next as well, so it may be that it's actually triggered it's picked up new METARs and the weather has now calmed down, the sun's gone off, so all you can see how calm the plane is, not jumping all over the place. You know, absolutely. This is how calm it is late on an evening, so it's quite a nice again flight time. During the day, on a hot summer's day, crikey, you can be bouncing all over the place with thermals and all sorts. So we're going to start our turn now. I said I'm having to kind of judge this, well, as you would as if you were visually flying. So I'm going to start our turn now, hopefully not too much time. Again, looking at SkyDemon, we are miles away, but I can see 3.6, which is dead ahead there. We might have cut it slightly short, but not dramatically. Just have a look. Got to fly. So let's just bring that up. So again, we'll go through our check. Brakes are off. Undercarriage is down. Mixture is rich. Fuel pump is going on. We're on the left tank, and we're going to stay on the left tank for this. Instruments are all set. I'm happy they're all matched up. That's okay. Yeah, all engine T's and P's are okay. Okay, carb heat's going to go on. And hatches and harnesses are all secure. So we're now going to start our descent down. Work out if we are tracking this in properly. So I think, yeah, we still need to be carrying on right. The pappies that we can actually see there are the side-on view of the pappies. That isn't actually runway 36 at all. That's more like 05. So yeah, we need to carry on this way a bit. That's okay. As I said, we've still got quite a way to go, so we're not even on long final yet. Well, we're close to, probably about 3.8 miles or so. There we are, it's alright, that's coming round nicely. But this is why looking out the cockpit is so critical for being able to judge where you are and look at, you know, obviously you have a map and everything, which I haven't got in front of me at the moment, but again, just little villages and everything start to orientate yourself and you go, well, this doesn't look like the picture I'm seeing out the window, and then you can work out what you need to do. A bit like I did there, I just could tell it didn't look right, and it wasn't. So there we are, we're just about so. So I want to be down to about 1100. We'll start our turning now. Not going to rush it. And we can start getting our speed back. There we are, there's 1150. So that's circuit height roughly there. Now we'll just check it on the QNH. Yeah, that's fine. We don't have any deviation there. Just get that power in. So again, I'm going to bring the power back while holding the nose up, which will bleed the speed off but keep us at that 1150 approximately. Let's just get that there. So I'm going to put in one stage of flaps now. Keep this here, just holding the nose up, his land speed. So we're down to about 75 knots now, which is nice. I'm going to put in a second stage of flaps. Although there is a bit of a forest at Wellesbourne as you fly over, it doesn't have trees that stick up randomly just like that one there, which is why I'm keeping my height a bit. Don't know when there is the forest there, but it's not like that. So we've got our height, so we're going to go third stage flaps. And again, normally here we do our calls. That'd be Wellesbourne information, Golf Whiskey Alpha Romeo uniform, final runway 36 to land, and they would obviously give us permission to land. So we'll carry on our approach now. So just trim this off a bit. Keeping our 75. We're slightly crabbed at the moment. Engine T's and P's are looking good. Got our airspeed. Now, so I'm going to use the rudder now, start bringing the nose round just that little bit. Watch that airspeed creeping up. Bring the power back. Get the airspeed. So where's our touchdown point? Looks like the line just after 3.6. So just as we get to 3.6, we adjust our view to the end of the runway, keeping an eye on our airspeed. And we let the plane keep going down. It's floating a bit. The weather's warm. Bring the power off a bit. It's floating, 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 but it's okay. Keep that nose up. Keep that nose up. Bring that power off a bit more. Boom, there we are, and we're down. And again, as you saw there, we floated now. Wellesbourne, I know the length of the runway, there's no rush to actually get down, because what you don't do is force the plane onto the runway. Now we're going to just do a quick turn off here. There we are. I'm going to taxi down here to park up over by the tower there. But yeah, you do not rush the plane onto the runway. You monitor your airspeed, you let everything run, and the plane will touch down. Now, obviously, you've got to be conscious of if you've got a short runway, you haven't got that ability. You have to go around at that point. But again, it's just making good decisions. So flaps can come up. There we are. Just going to open the window so I'll let a little bit of air in. Those will start to fog up. There we are. I've just realised we've lost the Vulcan. Now, I did think the airfield looked a bit funny as we were coming in. I'm going to go to the left-hand side of this plane. I don't fancy trying to force myself right through that gap. And that's because I bought some new Orbx scenery, Orbx Wales. And it's what it does as part of the auto install, is it will have put itself above all of the UK 2000 VFR airfield scenery, which means we lose things like the Vulcan, and it puts these planes in odd positions, and some of the hangars are missing, and so forth and so on. Airfield markings, and that might even be why we had that cliff at Gloucester as we approached. So after we've shut down and parked up, I will actually go into the scenery files and just correct that, move the UK 2000 scenery files up to the top. Yeah, it's missing a fair bit. Keep ourselves away from the other planes. Yeah, they are parked very close to the taxiway. Has to be said. Yeah, we're missing quite a bit. Well, we've got a lot of visitors today. But our clubhouse is down here, so we will park the plane. In fact, we'll come off the grass here, slow it down, hold that nose up as we go to the grass, keep the pressure off the nose wheel. We will go and park down here. I've got a bit close to that plane. Happy about that. Keep both sides clear. There we are. Pull into this gap here. Bring it forward slightly. I'm not going to go as close to those planes there because I like to keep a bit of a gap to give planes to get past. They're on the taxiway, so let's put the parking brake on. Parking brake is on, that's good, and we'll go through our shutdown checks now. So, although I hadn't flown for a little, a couple of weeks, and I have to say, even in the flight simulator, I felt rusty, and to be honest, I think you'll be able to tell from the video, it's a little bit of a rusty flight, and that's just a couple of weeks, which is quite outstanding and why it's so important to keep your skills up. So let's just do this shutdown. So we want the throttle to 1200, get that up to 1200, nice. Ignition, let's operate each magneto. That's nice. Go to both, that's okay. Go to right, and we have a slight drop, that's great. Go back to both, that's perfect. So let's just turn all the radios off. To there. Radio masters off. What else have we got on? Rotating beacon can go off. That's alright, that's okay. Right, so let's bring the throttle back, mixture back, and the plane should stop. And so it does. So let's just turn that off to there. Strobes are off, and the master off, and unplug those. and we'll make sure we close that, stop bugs getting in, and that's it. We've arrived back at Wellesbourne, so I'm really pleased with that. RNAV, obviously we followed the procedure. It wasn't the greatest, but I did spend a bit of time fighting the plane. But you got the idea anyway. One thing I am going to do, if I can remember the command, is just pop into the maintenance hangar, so we can see actually plane is in beautiful shape. The spark plugs are a little fouled, so is what we'll do. Obviously in this very easy, we'll just replace them. There we are. And that's them sorted out. In total, this plane has done 19 hours, which is great. 19 hours if only I could afford a plane and then only have flown it for 19 hours, a brand new plane. The other thing I want to do, I can't remember which one, there we are. Shift 4, as you can see, our fuel is very low, so I want to top these up, ready for the next flight. There we are. Bring that one up as well. And we can see our oil as well is about 3/4. Oh, just above actually, 3/4. Let's check that. That's fine, 100%, 100%. Got 6.1. So all I might do, there we are. I wasn't going to say fill it up to. I was going to fill it up to 7. Let me just bring you down. There we are. You can do that. You can't do that in real life again without draining it. But if you, I say overfill it. If you fill it full, the plane pretty much just spits. When I say spits it out, not in a bad way, but you could put 8 litres in, and you'll find them you've landed. It's got 7, and then it will stay on 7 for a long time. I will put 7. I will leave it like that's fine. That's okay. And yeah, that's it. So thank you for joining me again, and hope you enjoyed the flight, and I'll see you soon. Cheers. Bye.